You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.
Hey, it's your boy Tom here, and we are back with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. And first and foremost, let's say Happy Memorial Day to everyone out there.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day.
All the men and women in the service, past, future, and present, thank you for what you do for us. And let's get straight to what you did this weekend. Gary, I want to jump in with you because I'm sure D'Angelo's going to take forever.
You know he always does, but okay. Well, my normal weekend is I don't do too much, but this weekend, is Memorial Weekend, so I had a couple buddies over, and then I tried to do a little golfing. My body doesn't allow me to do much golfing.
Why? Why, Gary? Why did you try to go play golf?
Well, I enjoy golf, but my body does not like when I golf because my back. It hurts, my knees hurt, my shoulders hurt. So I tried to golf, I try. That's the key. I try because it's a fun sport. It's not easy though. It's super hard. But I'll tell you, the one thing that keeps you back for doing golfing is if you make that one good hit, it makes you want to come back. And you'll just try to fight through the pain. At least that's for me. My question is, have you ever golfed?
I have golfed. No, I haven't. Have I completed 18 holes? Hell no, I'll never complete 18 holes. Have I ever completed 9 holes? No, I have not. But have I ever tried to play golf? Yes. I'm a firm believer that you don't have to be athletic to play golf. That's why you see so many old guys out playing golf because it's more skill than it is athletic ability. Very similar to NASCAR. But again, I can't even watch golf. It's the most boringest thing ever to watch on TV and there because you can't yell or anything like that because, apparently there's golf etiquette where you don't supposed to talk. How the hell is that a sport and you're going to claim that it's a sport when you can't clap or cheer or be excited while
you can do the golf clap.
Actually playing.
You can do the golf clap.
Bro, I'm not how can you consider it a sport though? That's what I'm saying.
So
at sporting events, you're allowed to be fanatic. Like if you're a fan, then you're a fanatic, meaning that you can absolutely lose your damn mind and be happy and cheer and be as loud as you and boisterous as possible. Obviously, without touching the players and stuff like that. But we're gonna get into that because I love to hear what you think about what the NBA is doing right now, cracking down on these fans. But, we'll talk about that later. I just think that it's bullshit. I don't think that golf's a sport at all. You take the ball away and it's just walking.
So basically what you're saying, because you think it's not athletic, so you're saying I'm too athletic to play golf. That's why I'm not good at it.
No, I didn't
that's
say
what
that. I used to say that golf is for unathletic white guys. But I changed that and it's for unathletic people, period. And a lot of people like to point at Tiger Woods as saying like, hey, he's the GOAT, he's the greatest of all time. He's probably the most athletic and he was the strongest. But then you say that in the same breath to say, oh man, the same thing that made Tiger Woods great is the same thing that broke his body down. Like the heavy lifting and the torque that he puts on his back when he swings and the way in which he swung. It's crazy to me that the same thing that can make you rich will be the same thing that break you down and ultimately take you out of the quote unquote sport that you love.
That's in every sport, though. With football, our body gets broken down. My body's broken down. I'm sure yours is broken down. There's a lot of guys' bodies broken. Baseball, you have pitchers, arms.
Football's a contact sport, though, bro.
Well, okay.
You can play golf for 50 years, bro. You can play golf for 50. There's people right now that's 70, 80 years old. I'm not saying that they're great at golf.
Yeah.
But they're better than some of us. There's no way that you could do that in a contact sport. There's no way that Michael Jordan can go out there and give a player that's actively playing right now 50. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen at all.
I will say you did have a 50-year-old just win the tournament when Phil Mickelson. He just won the last tournament at 50.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I know you brought up the lifting and stuff with Tiger, but golf is not about being the strongest. It's just keeping the same technique. You don't have to be super strong. As long as you hit the ball correctly in the
Skill,
middle of the club, it's
skill,
going.
skill,
Yeah,
skill. It's
that's
all
a
skill.
skill base. It's not really power based. So like even all the lifting, like yeah, you need to do it for walking and being in shape for that, so your body doesn't get tired. But other than that, like it's not based on your strength on how hard you hit the ball, how far you hit it. Because some guys are not strong at all and they just know how to hit it.
So with you saying that, Gary, it is an athletic sport.
I like you said it. I think it's very skill based.
Oh,
I don't think it's not because I don't think there's it's a sport, so you have to say you're an athlete. You have a little bit of athletics into it, but most part it's more skill based because I will say it takes a lot of skill. Like if you don't have the skill, you're never going to be good. You can try to develop it, but it takes years upon years upon years of practice to get that skill. You
right.
can't just be athletic and pick it up and be good at it most of the time. You might have the right swing, but you can't control where the ball's going without the skill.
Right. And with that being said, that's why I golf comes off my list as an athletic sport. It's more so
Okay,
skill.
since you brought up NASCAR, what is more athletic, NASCAR or golf? If you had to
I,
pick,
I, I'm glad you said that, but I gotta go. I gotta transition what I did. So on Saturday, we rode our bikes on Saturday, and I'm gonna get to the NASCAR thing because I did something in NASCAR this weekend that'll roll me right into it. But I want to bring you to my Saturday though. So on Saturday, we're riding bikes. It's 11 of us, and we do 65 miles. And I've told you guys time and time again that when you're out on your bike and you're cycling, everything's a hazard, whether it's turtles, whether it's rabbits, whether it's squirrels. Well, now that it's hot, you guys know that it's snake season. So we're riding down on our bikes, and it's 11 of us, and we're watching this hawk chase this bird. And it was the coolest thing, man, because we was just like, damn, everybody, and I don't know about you guys out there listening, but me, myself, Gary, and Tom, we're all those people that we like animals hunting a while and like actually see them make the kill and just be like, oh man, that was cool. Did you see that? So as this hawk is chasing this bird, we're just like, dang man, we hope this hawk catch it because it's very rare that you get an opportunity to actually see wildlife, and then that circle of life just kind of happen right there in front of you. So while we're watching this hawk chase this bird, Rider 11, which is behind us, he goes, snake, there's a snake in my wheel. And we're like, dude, stop, man. And all I could think of was, Toy Story, Woody saying, there's a snake in my boot, right?
mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, dude, stop playing around, man. We ain't got time for this because the guy that said it is a jokester too and a prankster. And we look back, bro, and he jumps off his bike and like throws it. And we was like, oh shit, like this may be the real thing. We need to get back. Bro, what happened is as we were looking up at this hawk chase this bird, there was a snake crossing. And normally we call out holes and stuff like that in the ground. Well, nobody was looking. He ended up running over the snake, and when he hit it with his front tire, it flung him up and it hit his shoe. He thought it bit him. Well, when it hit his shoe, it went down in his chain and got caught up in his derailleur. Derailleur is the thing in the back, Gary, that switches the gears.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
I have rode a bike
yeah.
before.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't know if you know the terminology of certain parts on the bike.
Well,
So
I
it got
actually saw
caught
the
in his
picture, so I
derailleur.
knew exactly where it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it got caught in his derailleur, bro, and locked up his wheel. And he stopped. He obviously kicked the bike off, and we ended up getting the snake out. But had it been any bigger, man, it could have been like catastrophic for the rider, right? But it was the first time that I'd ever seen like it was a snake. The snake didn't live. When it got caught up in the derailleur, it pinched him and it split him in half pretty much.
Yeah, that was the question I was
The derailleur.
asked. From the picture, you couldn't tell.
Yeah, he didn't make it. He didn't make it at all. And he thought it bit him, but it didn't bite him. When it flung him up, his head hit his leg, and it feels like a bite when you looking at a snake. So for all you out there, all you guys out there that are listening, that are terrified or scared of snakes, just think about you riding your bike and you don't see this snake, it fling up, and then you see it at the last minute. What do you do? And you're clipped into this bike. He did it pretty well, man, and we got through. So on Sunday, it was a Coca-Cola 600, man. Kyle Larson was fast. He's the number 5 driver. Chase Elliott is number 9. He came in second place. He finished. I think so. He had a. But as I'm sitting here and we're watching the race, Austin's manager come up and we're just talking about things that Austin does in his free time. And Austin does like CrossFit and he goes to the gym and stuff like that. And NASCAR drivers always try to point out the fact that they're athletic, that they can do the things that we can do, that, their sport. I get it. I get it. We know that you're a sport. We know that you're a sport. That's not what the argument is. The argument is not whether you're an athlete or whether you're not an athlete. The question is can somebody that's average or just does absolutely nothing come in and do your job just as good as you do your job? I was looking at these these drivers, and outside of the top 10 or 15 drivers, and there's 40 some odd drivers, 41 or 42 drivers total. But out of the top 15 drivers, bro, I am convinced that anybody that's out there that's of average driving, like if you drive every day, can do the same job as a NASCAR driver does. I'm not talking about the Kyle Larsons and the Bubba Wallaces and maybe, I don't know. I can't say. But there's outside of the top 15 drivers, bro, I think that anybody else can do that same job that these NASCAR drivers do. So no, I don't think they're athletes. I don't think they're athletes at all. Do I think they're skilled at making left-hand turns? You're absolutely right. If you can go 185, 190 in these cars and you could do it for an extended period of time, I think I can do that just as well as anybody else. It's just gas brake. That's all you're doing.
See, the only reason I'll disagree with you on that is because I don't feel like I could get in one of those cars, drive 190, and drift right on the tailgate of another car and not hit it.
Gary, you do that now.
I am not close enough to do
it. I can't even see.
I can't even see the front of my.
Slow down in this big ass truck, bro.
No, I can't even see the front of my truck, so I don't know how close I am. So I don't get that close to people, because my truck would hurt people because it has a steel bumper.
Gary, you drive like a damn madman. Okay, you drive like a madman. You're
talking about yourself right now.
No. I drive like one too. That's why I feel like I can do it. Just the same hazards that these NASCAR drivers are experiencing, I'm experiencing when I drive on a day-to-day basis. You don't think I get tired of my wife and kids fucking complaining in the car when we're in the car sometimes? They don't even have to listen to that as they're driving these 600 miles in the Coca-Cola 600 or the 500 or whatever miles they're doing. All they got to do is listen to their damn crew chief.
But it's also different going 45 miles an hour versus 150.
Yeah, I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I know I can do it and be competitive, bro. Because here's the thing: when you look at NASCAR, bro, the last 5 that are in a NASCAR race, they generally get lapped 2 or 3 times. Like they're not good at their job at all. They're just guys in cars that are filling positions. And I think that I can go in and take one of those positions.
So do you think driving 150 miles an hour, you could handle the car if you got bumped? Because I'll tell you from experience, the one time I've ever got bumped in a car, I flipped a truck, and I was only going like 50 miles an hour. So me going 150 and getting bumped, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's possible for me. I don't have a good track.
You talking about the accidents that are associated with NASCAR. I get it. I get it. Not all accidents, even when you're a professional, that you just walk away from them. And it's not even that. Not all of them are preventable. So even the pros get in accidents. So now, are you saying that, hey, can I make a situation better than what it is based on my experience? Probably not. I'm talking about me getting in that car and doing just as good as the last 5 drivers. I honestly feel like I could do that. I honestly feel like I
So,
could do that. I could
so
do better than whoever's driving the 66 car. I could do better than them every race. And if I can't do better than them, I could do just as bad as they do. So I'd still be just as gifted as that guy in that 66 car.
So look, I feel like this is something we need to reach out to Austin and Ty and get you on a track and actually drive it one time without any cars and see how you do, how scared you are driving. Because I feel like your opinion would change doing that. And then you imagine there's 35, 40 more cars in front of you, around you, going the same speed, and you're staying in between without touching them, and they might bump you and rub you, and then how that experience is. But the only worry I have with that would be, well, you might wreck the car, and that's very expensive for them, so they might not
Yeah.
risk that. But
But
it'd be
that's
interesting to
part of
see.
it's part of the quote unquote game though. It's
I'm talking
part of the
about
quote
you.
unquote
I'm
game.
talking about you doing it as like a tester. You might run into the wall, and that's not something they probably want to pay to fix.
This is what I'm saying. This is I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna say this because you came out and you said some dumb shit. You said that you
Mine
can
was
run a
accurate.
4.8. It's not accurate at all. You are delusional, Gary, and I'm gonna continue to say that, and I'm gonna stand behind what I said. But I am gonna also follow this up. If you gave me 3 months, I'm giving you. I'm being honest. You gave me into the NASCAR world, like I can beat whoever drives the 66 car because this he got lapped like 2 or 3 times,
I
bro.
disagree.
He got lapped like 2 or 3 times. He's like I'm not gonna say he's a horrible driver. I don't know what kind of equipment he's using. I don't know if it's the same equipment. But when you look at guys and you at a professional sport and you see that they're awful at that professional sport, like what's the criteria for you to make it to that level if you're gonna consistently be awful? If you're
So
gonna consistently be awful, Gary, then why are you competitive? Like, are you considered a professional? Like, are you a professional driver or a professional football player? But is Tim Tebow a professional football player?
right now, yes, but does he deserve it? No.
Okay, all right. So we're not gonna get into what he deserves. Saying that he is a viable football player is what you're
Because he's
telling
on the
me.
roster, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I know how you feel about him. That's why I used him as an example because I knew I was going to get your true feelings. Uh, but I honestly believe that with enough, anybody out there can, because we're so used to driving that even if we ramped it up to 150, you give us 3 months to practice, anybody can do it, especially if there's people on this podcast that honestly feel like LeBron James can cross over from playing basketball as one of the softest NBA players out there and step up and play tight end or somewhere in a position that involves him having to be physical and him actually taking advantage of being physical. I think is bullshit. So if he get the benefit of the doubt, why do I not get the benefit of the doubt as a NASCAR driver?
Well, I don't give him the benefit of the doubt there either, so I can't give you the benefit of the doubt there either. But I'm glad you brought that up because I did see a nice little meme that it was floating around. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna break it down for you because I thought it was perfect description of the softness, like you said, of LeBron, how he overemphasizes everything. It's stupid stuff. But let me pull this thing
Yeah,
up real quick.
but I have to say this though too. In the NBA, Gary,
A lot of them
where
do. It's not just him.
flopping,
I'll say it's not just him.
right, where flopping gets you that opportunity to get those 2 extra free points at the free throw line or the foul line, assuming that you're good at shooting foul shots.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're good at shooting those, then I can understand the flopping. LeBron James is an 80+% field goal shooter
That might be
from the
generous.
line. I gave it to him. I mean, there's people on this podcast that really love him, so I don't want to really just drive him into the ground about his free throw percentage, okay? Because apparently the free throw percentage is not a big deal if you look at Shaq and some of the other big time players that are in the Hall of Fame that had absolutely phenomenal careers that are future Hall of Famers or considered the best at their position. So I'm just merely pointing that out. That's all.
Just for career, he's a 73% free throw shooter.
Okay, so he's not. He's C's get degrees though, Gary. C's get
true.
degrees.
So here's
There's a
the
lot
meme.
of people that subscribe to that.
So here's the meme. It's LeBron after he got poked in the eye. He laid on the ground for 80 seconds. Okay.
No, he didn't, Gary. Not for a poking eye. You're lying. I don't
80
believe that.
seconds.
There's no way.
Here's a reference of two other players that got hurt, what their injury was, and how long they laid on the ground. Okay. After tearing an ACL, MCL, and suffering other knee damage, Joe Burrow only laid on the ground for 78 seconds before he got up. Okay. After getting hit in the face with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, Kevin Pillar got up after 36 seconds and walked off.
Gary, I do not believe. Are these? Hold up. Did you fact check these?
Yes.
Because if
I actually watched Kevin Pillar get hit in the face. Yes, he was up within 40 seconds, walking off with already the bruising under the eyes. That is so much worse than a poke in the eye.
Yeah,
but
they don't make goats like they used to.
Now I can't. I would be remiss if I didn't do this. It hurts me to do this, but I will say Jason Tatum got poked in the eye and he didn't play the rest of the game. So it must just be a basketball thing.
They so soft, bro.
Yeah, it just must be a basketball thing
bro.
Because I know a baseball player got hit in the face with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and he got up within 35 seconds. And walked off.
Wow.
And then he still did the post game interview.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like those guys are soft. Oh, maybe they're not soft, man. Maybe they just they got a clear understanding of what it is to get their job done.
They know how to act. I'll give them that because that was another thing with the Chris Paul. Did you see Chris Paul box out LeBron? He fell, and they're like, "Oh, that was a flagrant. He was aggressive." Chris Paul just did what anybody does. You get in front of the guy when he shoots a free throw to get the rebound, and LeBron tried to jump over him and fell, and everybody's like, "Oh, that was dirty by Chris Paul." He did nothing wrong. He literally did his job, and because LeBron overreacted and tried to make it look like he hurt himself, everybody got mad and upset and had people getting ejected because of it. It was just overdone, like that kind of stuff, which we can transition right into the NBA stuff because I know I
definitely want to talk about that.
So that needs to be something needs to be done with that kind of stuff. Like the fact that they allow that on the court, it just takes away from people wanting to watch. Like I don't want to watch because all I see is flopping. Like when you see so much flopping,
bro, I don't know.
I don't want to watch the sport.
Which one's worse, man? The flopping in soccer or flopping in basketball?
Well, it's only so I will give it. It's only the flopping in soccer is only men's. Women do not flop in soccer. It's outrageous. They actually get crushed and get right back up. So it's only men's soccer, and I don't understand that at all.
Let me make sure we point this out. You watch women's soccer?
I do watch it more than men's, correct? But I only watch men's soccer in the World Cup. That's usually the only time I watch women's too, though. So I only watch it every 4 years, basically. But I will say the women's soccer does not. They are not floppers. Men do it way too much. It's terrible. And
since we're talking about soccer, Christian Pulisic, congratulations, man, on being the first American to win. Absolutely amazing, man. Keep setting trends. Christian's a good guy. We met him when we went to Germany before he got recruited or went to Chelsea, right? Was that
correct?
I mean, Manchester U.
Yeah, right. He's a great dude. He did some drills with Rosie Nix, and showed us how to do some skills that none of us have for soccer.
Absolutely. But back to LeBron James and the flopping and the all that. I don't understand how do you curb all the flopping that goes on in the NBA or even in soccer, because like before the flopping came into the NBA, it was more so that's what was going on. Like you would get hit that hard and you wouldn't have to flop because your body would automatically do that. So it was routine day in and day out or week in and week out that you would get those hard fouls. But now you don't even know what to gauge, what's hard and what's not, due to the fact that people are putting a little English on it or putting a little acting skills together to see if, hey, maybe I can do a little bit more, put a little polish on this thing, and maybe I can get this call that otherwise I wouldn't have got had I not flopped.
Well,
So it's interesting because you plan. I mean, it's part of the game. So
I don't
because
know.
it's a part of the game, if I can get the call, hell, I'm gonna try to get it.
Well, I don't know what you could do for soccer, but for basketball, it'd be interesting. So maybe because right now it's 6 fouls and you foul out, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So maybe you up it to 7, and if every time you flop, if there is a legit flop, then you assess a foul to it, and that would limit the amount of flopping in the NBA. As a fan, when I see flopping, it turns me off of the sport. And I know we said LeBron, but it's not just him. Harden does it all the time. There's so many guys
Yeah.
that flop, and it's just terrible. And to me, it takes away from the game because me as a when I played basketball, there was no chance I was flopping. Why? Like I don't even I have to win for a
Yeah.
block every time. I'm not taking charges. I'll take the foul. Like
Wow.
that's
Wow.
just honesty.
The levels y'all would stoop to avoid me being able to talk about LeBron on this podcast. So y'all gonna start the podcast without time, just so that we don't have somebody here to defend the King's honor.
I did I not just say that it's not just LeBron that flops? It was a lot of
Yeah,
people
you
flop.
did
You
say
brought
he
in
said it was
LeBron
not
now.
just
I
LeBron.
said it wasn't just
Yes.
LeBron. You brought it back because you must have been watching his last two where they flopped with the eye
Yeah.
poke. You missed my meme joke. Let me rephrase this for you. Did you see the meme of LeBron with his little eye poke?
With time spent on the ground.
Yeah, 80
Yes.
seconds.
Yes.
A guy
Yeah.
gets hit in the face with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball is up in 34. No big deal. It's a
Wow.
little
Yeah.
more than an eye poke, but just being honest.
It was all for show. It looked like that was.
Oh,
I
he
gave
definitely
LeBron
showed
man
us how
of the
soft he
round
was.
also,
You're right.
that's true.
Yeah, he did. Well, I do want to talk about this though, because I don't want to get too far into the podcast and we don't talk about this. The NBA and okay, we get a guy gets spit on. He got spit on during the game. Trey, I think it was Trey Young. He got spit on. Kyrie Irving got hit with a water bottle. Russ, Russ, so funny, man. He got hit with the popcorn, and now they're at a place now in the NBA where they're absolutely banning fans for entire seasons or for life from that particular stadium because of their contact with objects, whatever the case may be, in terms of protecting players. Do you guys agree with that? And then, all the stuff that's coming out of Boston. I've heard Kyrie Irving and a bunch of the other players say that, they've had racial slurs and stuff like that thrown at them in Boston. It's every stadium. I've been hit with, some crazy stuff stepping into these stadiums, whether it's something you've done on the field or something you've done off the field. Fans just try to use it against you to try to get in your head. Like, is there a place in sports for what's going on right now? And is the NBA doing a good job trying to curb what it is these fans are doing to these players?
Well, when it comes to throwing stuff, that's been going on forever. Even in football, they used to throw batteries in Philly,
Oakland,
in Oakland, all these places they throw all
Oh.
this stuff and so it's not just usually directed at a player. It's because usually in football it was all teams. You just threw it at the team. You didn't care. It wasn't about who it was or anything like that. It was just you hate the other team. You don't want them to win. You want them frustrated. But I do think they're in basketball. It's obviously different. Baseball, you don't really have anything like that. But basketball, they're so close. The fans are so close to you. I think that's probably part of the problem because you're trying to give them that one-on-one experience. Literally, you have the players landing in the fans' laps and stuff like that. So I think part of that has spilled over because now you can have people chirping literally at front row seat and yelling at the players and stuff like that. And I think if they're that close where they can spit on you and you don't have something up protecting the players, if they're walking in, you can dump stuff on them because some of that stuff you don't never know. Like obviously they do security stuff. All you can really dump is like a drink, stuff like that. But still, you don't want any of that stuff to be happening. Like that just should not happen. Especially you don't want people being spit on. That's terrible because that is one of the most disrespectful things you can do to somebody is spit on them. And I think that the whole thing is this: the fans are really close in basketball, so it gives them they feel like they have the right to do it, which they don't. So I do like what they're doing. I think it's going to continue though until people start getting charges pressed against them because of it. because there's right now all this a ban of a game. What if you're visiting the stadium for the visiting team and it's not your home team or whatever? They're supporting your team and they're visiting. You don't care if you get banned from that stadium. So why would you care? Now home games I think is obviously different. Like if you're a home fan of the Celtics and the guy who threw the thing and he got suspended forever, then that's a whole nother thing. But it's interesting because haven't really heard of a lot of other Celtics players coming out and saying bad things said to them and stuff like that. It's always the visiting teams, which that plays in the part where you're saying they're trying to get in their head. Right. Whether it's right or not, they're just trying to play some kind of emotional aspect to get in your head, because if they get in your head, then it screws you up on the court. And same with any sport. If it gets in your head with baseball, if a guy can sit behind home plate and yell at you and get in your head while you're hitting, well, that's going to be hard to do if you can't block them out. So, yeah, I think it's part of the
saying that this is okay.
I'm saying heckling is fine, but I don't think throwing.
Just part of the...
No, I think heckling is fine. I don't think throwing stuff is fine at all.
Okay. All right. I know what it feels like to get. I'm gonna tell you, AAA batteries, they fucking hurt. Okay. I got hit with some AAA batteries in Oakland. I remember playing them for the first time, and I told Steve, I said, "Hey, Steve, man, I get a touchdown, bro. I'm jumping into the black hole." He was like, "Nah, man, you don't want to do that." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna do that, man." He said, "Boy, you gonna get beer all over you. They gonna hit you with batteries, and it wouldn't surprise me if somebody hit you with that box cutter." And I was like, "Bro, in Oakland, like, this is a football game." He was like, "Bro, the people in those stands, man, they don't give a damn. It ain't a football game to them. This is life." And I'm like, "Man, watch me go jump in the black hole." Bro, I broke like a long one, man. I got in and I was going to like jump into it. Man, them damn AAA batteries started stinging me when they was throwing them hoes. I was like, "Nah, I'm cool." I just celebrate. It took my ass back to the bench. I was cool on that, man, because I wasn't ready. And I was like, "Damn, man, they just allowed to throw batteries in here?" He was like, "Nah, they're not allowed to, but it happens." So watching like the popcorn get spilled on the player, like, or, you know, maybe a bottle thrown at somebody or a drink, I think the spit is just excessive. That's just downright disrespectful. But as far as like the popcorn and the drinks and shit like that, man, it just let me know that I'm getting under your skin as a fan. Like, you don't like me. I'm that good to where I affect your mood. And so I welcome that but we all got different personalities. Russ, on the other hand, he think, "Hey, man, you throw some popcorn on me, you think I'm less than you, so therefore, you know, now I want to fight." And it's always funny because I'm not saying basketball players can't fight, but if you don't like somebody, as football players, we fight helmet on, helmet off. We don't give a damn. Basketball players, they do like this fake swing shit where they don't really want to fight. They wait till somebody come in between them and try to grab them and stuff. Like, come on, bro. Like, if you really wanted that smoke, you going to go get that smoke. And it's going to be a little bit of fire behind it, too, when you come. But that's just me, though. You know, Tom's the NBA guru as it relates to basketball. So, Tom, what do you have to say about this? Do you think that there's a place in sports where fans are allowed to react, to throw popcorn drinks? Because you look back when Michael Jordan played, man, they went through shit like hell, bro, as far as like how they played on the court with being physical with each other and the fans reacting to that, to like now there's lifetime bans for fans. What do you think, Tom?
Also, Tom, I want you to answer on the issue, how to deal with the flopping issue by all of the NBA.
Okay. For me, it's just the whole dumping popcorn on people or spitting on people, just anything that causes some sort of, if there's anything that's touching these athletes' bodies whenever you're playing a game, then that's not something you should be doing. Because what it is, essentially, I've heard the parallel of it. It's like we're zoo animals and they just think they can do whatever they want to us. And because you got to think that there ain't no way this fan's going to dump popcorn on Russell Westbrook if he just sees him out in the street, because he knows what's going to happen. And, NBA players might just buck up to each other like they want to fight and never actually throw hands. But a lot of these guys are actually really good athletes and big guys. And just because they're not trying to fight each other doesn't mean they're not ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know who's smarter, honestly, because the NBA players may come across as less tough, but these football players that swing on each other with their helmets on, I'll never understand why football players.
I never said it was smart. I never said it was. I said that we do it.
They be going for that helmet like that ain't about to just like hurt your hand. Oh shoot! But no, I just think it's out of pocket. Let's call it what it is. Fans shouldn't be able to do anything like that because you're there to watch these guys entertain, and they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line. This is what they do for a living, and just because the fans know nothing is going to happen to them, that's why they feel like they're able to do the things that they do. So definitely, I'm down with the lifetime bans. As far as the flopping, I think you're right on track, Gary. Whereas if they because they're going back and reviewing stuff now, right?
Correct.
And I don't even think you have to add another foul because all that does is lessen the penalty of somebody flopping because you're like, oh, well, I got a foul to give anyways.
Yeah.
Have it be the same amount of fouls. I think that's a good idea. You get caught flopping, that a foul gets charged to you, other team gets 2 free throws instead of you. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that if it was a better way to police it, guys in the league wouldn't do it because I mean at this point it's an advantage in the game.
Correct.
If you can get away with a flop, and it's actually helping your team. And as much as it sucks to see as a fan and as somebody that's just wanting to watch the game, it's just smart for players to take advantage of that for right now. So,
Which I agree because they do the same thing. Like we talked about, they do the same thing in soccer. But again, that is why I don't enjoy watching men's soccer because they flop way too much, and that's what's turned me off of basketball because you see all the flopping, and like when we out go play a pickup game, there's no flopping. We don't even call fouls when we play a pickup game. It's just playing, and that's what I think it's frustrating when you go out and play and then you watch the pro and you're like, well, y'all, you literally didn't get touched, and you're acting like you got knocked out or something. And it's just frustrating as a fan. I'm like, I don't enjoy watching this, and I think it happens way too often. And like you said, there's no policing. There needs to be something done about it to make it more entertaining than what it is, because I think that turns a lot of people off.
Okay, so with that being said, and we're still in the NBA, this is going to give us a clear opportunity to have a conversation that we always wanted to have, Gary, me and you didn't even know this. AD is out with a groin injury. Can LeBron James, since he's supposed to be the greatest of all time, overcome what it is? If he is supposed to be the greatest of all time, he doesn't need any help. He should do this by himself. I mean, if he want to be Thanos and they want to coin him as Thanos, then he should be able to take on this Suns team that I don't think is very talented at all. However, I mean, what do I know? I don't know basketball like Tom know basketball. So maybe he could tell me. I mean, is Chris Paul and what he got over there bigger or stronger or better than what Bron has over there minus AD? I mean, y'all tell me. I don't think it's going to get done. I think that they won't win another game without AD.
See, I could see them getting past the Suns without AD. I'm not going
They
to
won't.
lie. I'm just saying I could see it happening. Do I think he can win the West without AD? Not a chance. I don't think he can do it without AD. He needs to have that other player that can help take off the load of him, especially nowadays because he's older. Could he have done it back in the day? And from the West, no. I still don't think he could have done it back in the day in the West. And even in the East now, East is actually strong. But back when he was playing, the East wasn't as strong as it is right now. But it was still had some good teams. But in the West, no, I don't think he could have done it back then either. But now, especially without AD, I definitely don't think he can make it to the finals without AD. If AD stays hurt longer, I don't think there's a chance. And I know Time's going to try and defend it, but he's going to admit it.
This man just said the East was strong when that Miami Heat team is the one who made it out of East last year. I
said this year, the Nets, sir. The Nets are actually healthy this year. You have Giannis playing like Giannis is supposed to be.
So what you got, Tom?
You have those 76ers.
Yeah, we give you this opportunity, man, to talk about your GOAT, man. Your GOAT, the one you believe in. Can he get out of the first round? Because this may be the first time in a very long time where LeBron exit is going to be quick, fast, and swift by Phoenix Suns team that's not even really that good. They're not even that good, Tom. See those?
It sounds like you silenced him.
Those are crickets. Those are
Oh,
crickets
sorry.
right there, ladies
Sorry,
and
I was
gentlemen.
muted. I was over here going off. Didn't even notice I was muted. So the Suns had the second best record in the NBA. They do have a good team. Let's not even try to play them. They have one of the best defenses in the league.
Here we go.
But
Here we go.
here's what I'm saying as far as the Nets, and obviously they better do well. The Bucks, they've already swept the Heat. That's what they should have done a long time ago. They had no business losing last year.
No. We talking about LeBron.
I'm getting there. I'm
Damn the
getting
East.
there.
Okay.
I'm
All
getting
right.
there.
I didn't know I didn't know you was taking the scenic route. My bad. Go
So
ahead.
when it comes to LeBron and the Suns, I think that LeBron is great enough that he should be able to beat a Phoenix Sun team without AD. But there's a big caveat there. It will depend on if his role players that are on the other team are able to step up, or if there's one guy, maybe a Kuzma, a Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, somebody that's able to step up, Andre Drummond, somebody that's able to step up and be that second big scorer. Because LeBron at this point, let's say what it is. He's too old to be carrying 40 points a night for every night in, night out, in my opinion. I mean,
Oh, now he's too old. Okay.
no, can
All
he
right.
do it? Can he do it? I'm sure, but he's got a lot of years on them legs. You know how that is whenever you're getting a little bit older.
Here we go. Here we go. Now you're trying to make it relatable. Okay. I see what we're doing here.
So what I'm saying, but the Suns are a very good team. DeAndre Ayton is a great center, which is hard for the Lakers to stop just in general because you saw he was getting what he wanted with Drummond, and you see it all the time with the Suns that Chris Paul is that person that can put people in place and knows how he brings the IQ, and then Devin Booker is the scorer that you really don't have anybody that can stop. And having KCP out is also big because he's one of their best defenders. He's a really good defender. He's great at the corner threes, which is something that LeBron always needs because when he's driving, he has a great ability to kick out. I don't know if y'all saw the one he did yesterday where he kicked it out, kind of
Showing
like
off, correct.
back. Boy, that's a GOAT pass right there. Anyways, to me, LeBron has done it so many times where he puts the team on his back and carries them. I don't see why he can't. But, like I said, it's going to take other players on the team stepping up, which is how it normally does. I don't think he has enough to get – honestly, the teams in the West, the way it's going right now, none of the teams look very dominant. The Clippers have looked better the past two games, but the fact that they're 2-2, Jazz don't look that good.
Well, the Jazz looked better once they got Donovan Mitchell back. They didn't have him for the first game. They did not look good, but since he's been back, they've looked really good.
Right.
Can we not talk about that? Can we just move on? Like I don't want.
And the Nuggets have been
That shit.
underwhelming. The Nuggets have been underwhelming. With the Blazers, but it's just I think there's not been one team that's like stands above the rest. And if LeBron and them win, they're up 3-1. We're not really worried about it. But it's 2-2 going back to Phoenix, and I think that, like I said, I'll put it like this: LeBron has done it many times in his past. But that was also a younger LeBron. I'm not going to sit here and act like Father Time doesn't play a role in this game. So if I had to put my money on anybody, I'm still putting my money on LeBron. Obviously, anybody knows.
Well, you have money on them to get to the finals.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Well, it's all right. I'm feeling good after watching the Clippers. I don't know if they're going to be even close to sniffing.
Hey, it's 2-2 now. It looks good the last two games.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 2-2.
yeah.
It's 2-2, but I believe in Lulu. That's all I'm going to say right there.
Here we
Lulu,
go.
baby, go Don.
Just for clarification, though, Chris Paul's also the same exact age as LeBron, and he's leading the Suns. In case you're wondering, they run through Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Right, but like, what does Chris Paul's stats look like this year?
He's averaging about 20, 10, 29. He's not getting the rebounds, obviously, because he's 6'2".
Right. Well, hold on. Let me look.
Okay.
So he's averaging
just-
16.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 8.9 assists. So LeBron is averaging 25 points because I'm sure. Did y'all see that stat where he averaged 25 points or more in 18 straight seasons? And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but no one else has ever done that. Okay,
Well, because Jordan only played 12. He didn't need to play 18.
Well, yeah, that's because Jordan had to retire 3 times.
And he still put up numbers that were
brings
hard
me
to
to
beat.
one question I need. This came up this weekend with Cynthia. So mean, she'll like to have the GOAT discussion with me, and of course she's a MJ fan.
Of course, as she should be.
And so my little brother is here visiting, and he was talking about how LeBron's the GOAT, and she goes, "You didn't even get to watch LeBron play in basketball. You didn't watch MJ. So I mean, you watched LeBron, but you didn't get to see MJ." I was like, "Baby, you barely got to see MJ. What are you talking about?" I said, "You were like 7, 8 by the time he retired, and because he retired from his first stint in 1998." And she goes and looks it up, and she goes, "No, he actually retired in 2003 because that's when he came back and retired for the Wizards." So, and when it comes to Michael Jordan, did he retire in 98 or did he retire in 2003?
So he retired 3 times. Thank you.
Right, exactly. I know.
But again, I know you always bring up longevity. He chose not to keep playing, and the fact he still put the numbers he put up in 12 years, basically, and it took people 18, 16 years to pass it, is outrageous.
Right, but my thing about that is because people always say, "Well, what if he would have never left?" But what if he had to leave for mental purposes? Like he brought it up in his documentary about how like he was just tired of the game. If he
played 15 years, he would have put numbers up nobody would have passed ever.
I mean,
he almost did with playing 12. So
you would think, but what if he would have got burnt out because he was just so exhausted from basketball? I'm just saying because
it's too late. Don't worry about it.
Again, I want to say this because they're gonna fight about this the whole time. Again, happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. We didn't get an opportunity to talk about anything memorial related because Time always like to hijack this podcast.
Yeah,
to talk
he
about
loves his
who
LeBron
he think
talk.
is the GOAT in basketball. So happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. We thank you for joining us. We out.
Also, thank you for all the give support to the military, all the veterans and everything like that, because that's what it's all about. So I think that's a huge thing. Say thank you if you see any. That's what it's about.
Yep. We appreciate you, all the men and women in service, and we appreciate you listening and taking your time. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. Go ahead, D.
We out.
You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to